I'd like to welcome you all to the Ascended Masters class. The Ascended Masters class is a class for the student or the person that has graduated from low human characteristics and the lower nature of desires in which the human body possesses. Those that have the eye to see beyond the physical realm and those that have the willpower to dissolve the soul suppressor, the ego. Those that have overcome the desire and lust for food as far as the taste buds becoming the master over their own consciousness. Let us talk about dominion over the body. People can, if they will only realize it, talk to the organs or parts of the physical body, just like they would to a child from whom they wished obedience. They can say, now, you get into perfect normal activity and see that you maintain it. During the time that the life is maintained within the form, there are innumerable little workers whose duty it is to rebuild the atomic structure of the form and maintain it in perfect order. Again, one can say to that part of the life activity, see that my body is supple, perfect in form, and beautiful, that my hair, eyes, and every part of me glows with the light of the inner activity. The fact and eternal truth is that the consciousness is absolute master of every activity of the body and can mold it into perfect activity and form. The only reason, those who know this do not get their manifestation is because they do not stay on the job. If a disobedient child were destroying something beautiful and valuable in your home, you would certainly put a stop to it. The time has come for you to do the permanent work on your body. The work of repairing and perfecting the body is done through the electron. Let me repeat that. The work of repairing and perfecting the body is done through the electron. Say to the intelligent workers in your entire body, get to work and see that every particle in this structure is replaced with God's perfection. Do this especially at night before going to sleep. Realize that you are setting to work intelligent beings who obey you. The consciousness must be impressed upon the workers that the perfection is permanent. The electron is a focus of perfect energy from which the workers draw their perfection. Instead of knowing that everything we place within the body is God's pure substance, most of us have the idea that some of the God substance can be harmful. The idea that any of God's substance is naturally harmful and inharmonious to man is absolute nonsense. Now we're going to talk about you meat eaters. To meat eaters. The reason that flesh food does not belong in the human body is because there is a certain animal quality in the natural structure of the flesh, and this automatically acts from its own trained environment of activity. Question: what causes the change in desire for food? Answer: it comes through the raising of the consciousness, and this quickens the activity of the atomic workers. Now, class, I need y'all to pay close attention to what's about to be said. This is very important. The force field around the electron is naturally perfection. I repeat, the force field around the electron is naturally perfection. The force field between the positive and negative atoms may be so charged with the force of the electron that it maintains a constant constructive activity. This is done by the conscious activity of the thought through the vision. This is the point of meditation. Let me repeat that again. The force field between the positive and negative atoms may be so charged with the force of the electron that it maintains a constant constructive activity. This is done by the conscious activity of the thought through the vision. The province of the conscious activity in the right use of its power is to qualify this force field between the atoms with the perfection of the electron. The nature of the little workers is to keep perfection. A good affirmation is, see that this is renewed and maintained in its perfect activity. Remember always, the human mind will revert back to imperfection unless you keep a death-like grip upon it until it makes full union with the golden flame. Take your stand. Know you have within you the mighty master presence, and tell it to see that you are sustained in the constant activity of perfection. You must consciously give quality and permanency of the quality to the atomic structure if perfection is to be maintained without interruption. Command often. I speak to you, the conscious workers of the constructive process. See that perfection is created and maintained in every function of all my bodies. Remember, you got more than just the physical body. You have the etheric body, the emotional body, the mental body. These are different bodies. Now let's touch on germs. There is no germ of any disease except what the conscious mind creates. Let me repeat that. There is no germ of any disease except what the conscious mind creates. The medical profession calls this activity germs. This leads us to phagocytes. Just what is a phagocyte? Phagocytes. These little workers are constructive by nature and are placed in the body to maintain perfection. But the discord in the thought and feeling, if allowed to express in the consciousness of the individual, compels them into other than their natural activity of work. So a phagocyte is a cell that is capable of absorbing bacteria within cells. Now many of you may say, but how do we heal quickly? What's the process of our body regenerating at a faster rate? Well, let's talk about it. Now class, I need you to pay close attention. For healing more quickly, whenever you visualize the golden light acting, qualify it with infinite intelligence and command these little workers to create and maintain perfection in the mind and body. This adds a tremendous element to the healing activity, which is the natural action of this golden light. And the light is an intelligent activity when this is directed by the conscious command. Remember, your voice is the voice of command. You are the God. It sets in motion tremendous power of the Heru. Get the full realization of this fact at all times, so that you will know that this consciousness always acts according to your demand. Instead of allowing these little workers in the body to accept destructive suggestions by your conscious command, you keep them obedient to their own natural perfect activity. Whenever you hold the vision of healing, be sure to qualify it in this way with the conscious command, by the use of the conscious command as the Heru. We transcend the law of growth. The law of growth is only in the outer activity. Let me repeat that. The law of growth is only in the outer activity. There was a time when birth came through the power of the inner vision, creating the full form as desired by the masters within. This is the same power that is used today by the ascended host to project forms for their own use. The ascended beings at this time, unless a number of activities are required at once, usually take their own body for the work. If 3 or 4 activities are required at the same time, they project that many forms through which the energy is to act. The law of growth is only a concept of the human mind that accepts the limitations of and the concept of time. The ascended host can send or project a form just as easily as a thought. The instantaneous action of the desire creates the form by the thought, for their thought creation is instantaneous. If you wish to project your thought to a distance, you have but to clothe it with your picture to make a form tangible to the outer senses. It must be clothed in the atomic structure. The transportation of a body by levitation is a much lower action than the dissolving and reassembling of it at a distance. The latter is a much more rapid process. The manner of transporting the objects from the temple at Mithila to the royal Tetum was by the disassembling process. This was the method used for all in the retreat except the Portraits. In the case of the Portraits, we did not wish to interfere with the cohesive structure as it has been previously established. For reasons not explainable now, in passing through solid objects, things are assembled and reassembled on the other side. In this way, we keep the inner blueprint intact and reassemble the article again according to the perfect pattern. Now that class has come to a close, we must give a little praise and thanks for the mighty I Am present that lies within us, knowing that there is perfection within us, but it has been coated with the lower desires of human nature. Okay, we must give a little thanks for the clearness of thought and understanding today of that which has been shed, and that thy mighty intelligence is now acting in the minds and bodies of these thy students. externally sustained in its fullness and activity. Until next class session, peace.